Hello, sportsmen. I know if you're watching this on Thursday night, you're probably sitting back stuffed. So we don't want to talk too much about food, although we do have a colossal recipe coming up. I'm sorry about that. We also have lots of Christmas gift ideas for sportsmen, things that maybe you've never seen before. We're going to show you some bucks at the buck pole, take another look at those. So we have a lot coming your way. Stay tuned. I'm Fred Trost. It's time for the Practical Sportsman.
And by the financial support of viewers like you.
Ho, ho, ho. I know what you're saying. You're saying, this is Santa Claus before he finished plumping out and his beard turned totally gray.
A young Santa Claus.
Young Santa, that's right. Doug Tabor is our product man here at the Practical Sportsman. And Doug, you put together a whole bunch of Christmas gift ideas that would be good so that people could buy for sportsmen and almost couldn't go wrong.
I'd take one of everything.
Now just say Santa had a sleigh that was on a trailer and he had to park it and had a wheel on the front of the trailer.
Yeah. And he would never find a spot on a roof that's flat. It would always be at an angle. The tongue and chuck would be very handy for him.
Well, this is just a plastic, one of the simplest gizmos in the world, a dish with a circle in it, and that's where the wheel fits on the trailer.
Right.
And like that's all there is to it, folks.
That's it. There's nothing else to tell about
But it beats the heck out of a brick or a 2x4. It's really
anything.
designed for a trailering person.
Really neat little thing.
Now tell us about the panhandler.
The panhandler, I would say, is for people that haven't done a whole lot of filleting of fish. You open it up, you stick your fish in it. It's got a two-bladed knife that you take out and runs through it. Does a nice job of filleting your fish. Makes it easy. My kids, 11, 12 years old, have used it and done it.
And of course, as they get older, they might want to, use a knife and all that. But this is good for a beginner. Here now, we do have some people who are coming to our Sportsman's Gift Fair here at the museum, which is this weekend, day after Thanksgiving. And one guy will be there is the guy with a game gaff.
Sam Blaze.
I bet you Sam has about 10 more ways of using this than dragging a deer.
Yeah, that's his main idea for doing it. It hooks in the mouth. Just grabs a hold and you got a nice handle. The problem with ropes and almost everything else that you use to drag deer is it pulls on your hand. Nice, comfortable handle, folds up, fits in your pocket.
And can probably be used for about 20 other things.
Oh yeah, lots of other things.
Speaking of using for other things, this is called a Leatherman. You've probably seen them in magazines, specialty catalogs, maybe even at the store, but they are handy. They're not really just for an electrician or a construction worker, but for sportsmen, these little gizmos. Now this doesn't have a knife on it. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It does have a knife on it. I'll be darned. It has a knife on here, plus it has screwdrivers, all sorts of things, but these pliers are slick, like needle nose pliers.
Quality.
Tim Farragon uses them to skin squirrels, and he's always using this. John McKenzie up at Coyle's Restaurant has one of these that he carries all the time.
Pulling hot pans off the fire.
Oh yeah, I mean seriously, this thing is going to go in my belt as soon as we're done with this. I don't want you to wrap it up. I'm just take possession of it right here. Speaking of other things that are useful, the old Swiss Army knife? You know how big they are? I have a couple big ones. They're handy to have in your pack, but not in your pocket. But these Swiss Army knives, the little ones, I would really recommend. You can't go wrong with these. This is mine with this big scissors on it here. You have one that you've been carrying around. Has a little teeny pair of scissors.
Little scissors.
That's cute.
They work. They're a sharp scissor.
They are.
And I use it for a lot of different things.
But this is a pocket Swiss Army knife. And the great thing, now I have one. See, I can fit this in my pocket with no problem. But some people who don't buy pants for a couple years but continue eating, like Doug. Go ahead, Doug. Put that in your pocket.
No, it fits right in my pocket.
Are those jeans or are those spandex tights?
There's a lot of stuff in that pocket, but the knife still goes in.
You're going to make a great Santa, I'll tell you. Fishing tackle. Oh, here. Now, Kuhlman?
Kuhlman.
Is that who invented this? Yep. The spring bobber on the end?
Kuhlman Manufacturing out of Spring Lake. He makes the rod, but the real trick is the spring bobber there.
Okay, your line goes up through the guides. This is an ice fishing rod, a short one. And then you put the line through the loop in the end and it has a little bead on it. And if a fish bites, perch, panfish, trout, that's pretty slick. And the spring bobbers you can buy separately. And he's going to be here this weekend.
He will be here this weekend too, yeah.
Very good.
And you can use it on your spinning rods in the summertime, which makes it a unique spring bobber.
The people from Fish Tales will be here as well. Now, I was impressed with this when I saw this. This is a crawler harness like ho-hum. You know how many crawler harnesses are there with beads on them? They sell them, of course, with all bunch of different beads, and these are very inexpensive. No spinner blade, and that has a clevis on here, which is pretty nifty because with a clevis, you can buy a package of spinner blades, all sizes, colors, and styles. Say you're fishing with this and you say, no, I want to slow my trolling down a little bit and use a different color. You can put on the willow leaf blade like that and use that as a spinner. So that's versatile, and I'm kind of impressed with using a clevis and changing those. Then the other thing is he has a whole system here of spinners, cowbells, which uses a clip and the swivel clips like that. So you can put on cowbells here, for example, as an attractor to use for walleye fishing. Put your crawler harness on the end, you got the cowbells, and you hook these all together. All these components that Fishtails puts out hooked together. These,
yeah.
I tell you, if you're up north fishing and always having to tie knots, you wished you had everything on these kind of components.
They'll be here this weekend, too.
Yep, they will. Let's see. Let's look at, Vexilar. Here's an announcement Doug has. They almost phased out flashers entirely.
LCRs, LCD units almost put flashers right out of the business.
Vexilar buys these units in Japan. They're the only company that's made flashers in the past couple of years, but you have some news?
Got a new company out of Minneapolis that's making an American-made flasher. Zircom is the name of the company. We weren't able to get one to show for the Christmas program. We will have one later to show.
But flashers are back?
But flashers are back.
I tell you,
good news.
And they're great for ice fishing. Great for ice fishing. Oh, this fellow's going to be here this weekend. Now, here's something for muzzle loading hunters. These are, Jim Preston from Lansing makes these. These are Sabot, however you want to pronounce it, to go around slugs. These are 350 grain slugs that he has developed for muzzle loaders. Of course, if you're going to buy these for somebody, you need to know what kind of muzzle loader they have and all that. But the muzzle loading equipment is something that if you can always buy for a muzzle loader.
I've used the Sabos before, but haven't been able to find the heavy shells.
And these are Arctic spurs. Now, these Arctic spurs I have found to be tremendous for hooking on your boots, ice fishing, to walk around on. But what are the new? Now you think what can possibly be done with something like that? This is new and improved, isn't it?
It is new and improved. He has moved it in a little bit so it doesn't come all the way out to the edge of your boot. Shortened it actually is what he's done, the base, and then he's taken off the point on it a little bit. There was some concern by some people that they might hurt themselves. It was a little bit pointed.
Yep. Well, that's right. Well, these things fit around your boot, and you take that spring and run it around there.
They'll fit on any kind of boots, too. They fit on the Mickey Mouse boots, which we are going to have.
Mickey Mouse boots are back.
They are back.
The guy's going to be here this weekend with those.
Guy's going to be here this weekend. If you haven't looked at Mickey Mouse boots in a while, you want to come down and take a look at the new ones. They redesigned them. The military did in like '81. They only weigh about 6 pounds a pair now. They're very nice and as warm as boot as you can buy.
Now, I don't want you to give me a bunch of grief, but I have to do this every year.
Fred needs more socks.
Everybody needs, any sportsman, if you want to buy him 3 pairs of wool socks, you can wear them under any type of boots for hunting, and they wear out and get holes in the end. I got tons of them that way. Wool socks.
Always handy.
Hey, Doug, let's clear this stuff out a second. We got some bigger gift ideas. You're going to have to give us just a moment, and we'll be right back with this reorganized gift extravaganza. Okay, speaking of keeping warm, some of our bigger Christmas gift ideas here. This is made by Uncle Josh. This is a wood-burning stove that's small for ice shanties, deer blinds. Here's a similar thing, it's even smaller, that you use LP gas on. Those would be pretty good ideas for shanties. Or,
Nice.
People have called up when they saw that on the show and asked about. That's a neat little deal that they could use. What you got here?
This is the rear gear, is what they call it. It's a muff to keep your hands warm.
With a zipper along the top.
Which there are several muffs on the market, but this one's a little bit different. It does have the zipper on the top. It opens up, makes a nice seat.
Well, the other thing is you can wear this around your waist. Right here, there's a waistband. So you wear it around your waist in the front, put your hands in as a muff, you slip it around on the back side and drop it, and it stays right with you as a seat.
Wherever you sit. Also, be real handy when you're ice fishing to kneel on.
To kneel on, that's a good idea. Speaking of ice fishing, here's a thing called a heat seat that this is really cool. This is a little furnace heater here that you can put canned heat in. I guess this is a corn product, an ethanol corn product, and it's a sure flame canned heat. Open it up, and it does burn about 8 hours because we tried it. It puts heat out the front. It goes on the top of a bucket. Keep warm.
These guys will be here this weekend. This is a very nice product. It does work.
Very handy. Here's something for shooters. You put a clay pigeon in here and fling it, called the Rocket Hand Trap. Really works well. What about that blind there, Doug?
This right here We did several blinds on the television program. Senko will be here this weekend showing the super blind.
That super blind. That was the big one.
We've done that there. That's the big one. This is a blind, and we just don't have room to set it up in here. It's called the Packing Shack. You get a seat, the blind, everything, all right in this little pack that you put right on your back. I use this opening day. Very handy little piece.
Very good. Speaking of things for deer hunters, there's been a lot of interest in deer decoys. Right here, this is the Featherflex lightweight decoy. You know, we've heard reports, even people who didn't get deer said that they just had a riot when a doe or a little buck came out, the way they reacted.
They all react to them, one way or another.
A lot of fun. Another big item, of course, besides the blinds, let me mention here is about the blinds. We've had ice fishing shanties on the show, a lot of brand new ones on the market in the past couple of years. Hunting blinds, we showed them. It would be hard to go wrong if you wanted to. You needed to shell out a couple $100 for a Sportsman. Yep. Get them a blind.
A blind or an ice shanty. And again, we did do the ice shanties last year. We're going to do some more. Got some very nice new ice shanties this year.
And this is something that a lot of people are interested in. It's a slick skin fish scaler. And this, you put your fish in there to scale them. Just clip it down like that, and it's electric cord on it. Put water in the bottom, and it rotates around and just knocks the scales right off.
We used it earlier this year. It surprised me. It worked better than I even thought it would work.
And for a guy like you, who's probably never caught a fish large enough to mount, and everything you catch is too small to almost clean,
it makes it really nice, yeah.
A lot of great Christmas gift ideas, I'll tell you. And speaking of that, Doug, someday you'll get in the trophy book. Maybe with a buck, huh?
Maybe.
Yeah, take a look at these. You'll be seeing the biggest bucks we can find from Michigan's 1993 deer season on Big Buck Night. That's telecast statewide Thursday evening, December 9th. I imagine a couple of big racks we saw at the buck pole at Mill Creek Sports Center will be featured on Big Buck Night. Oh, there were some dandies. Anybody have bucks over here? The people with, oh, you? Okay. Tell me about what's your name?
Doyle Dunlap,
And you're from?
Dundee, Michigan.
From Dundee. And you got this one just come in today?
Yeah, I took it in today. I took it yesterday morning.
And how many points is that?
10-pointer.
Jeez, but that's a big 10-pointer.
It's nice and
In
thick.
a swamp?
Eh?
Did you get in a swamp or where?
It's right on the edge of a swamp.
Well, that's terrific, Doyle. Let me see if I can find somebody else here who has some of these. Look at this. Look at this one here, John. Boy, this has a real basket-shaped rack. Counting the tines up here. These are all 10, 12 pointers, an awful lot of them. Well, there's some 8 pointers up in here. Who else has bucks here? Anybody else have a buck?
Got a deer here.
You do?
This guy's got a nice deer here.
Got an 8-point there.
That 8-point up there?
Yeah, with a big neck.
Huh. Boy, it sure does. Yesterday's buck.
Yep, yesterday morning about 9:30.
Was this your buck?
Yep.
Oh,
this
it
one.
is? Terrific. What's your name?
Vicky Ackerman.
From?
Hell.
From hell.
From hell.
But you're back. You've got from hell and back, and that's good. And this is,
8-point.
that's one heck of a buck.
I thought so.
2, 3, 4. Yeah, that is an 8-point. A nice one. Very symmetrical. Well, what's the story on it?
Was out hunting with 3 guys. They pushed the swamp.
Oh, and you were
Came.
sitting.
Yep. Me and another guy were sitting. Came running out on me.
And that was this morning or yesterday?
Today about 1 o'clock.
Oh, okay. How did the boys do?
They didn't get anything today.
They didn't.
No.
Did they get anything yesterday?
No, but they helped me with mine.
Is that them
Yeah.
peeking through? Barb
Meadows.
Meadows from.
Ypsilanti, Michigan.
And this, you got this yesterday?
Yeah, I got it yesterday about 3:30. I want to show you the lip on this though.
The lip. Oh, it has an underbite, a severe underbite. No kidding. Well, that must make it a little difficult for that buck to eat, I would think.
Well, it weighed only 125.
Okay, so it did have trouble
Yeah,
eating.
this thing's been hit by a car or something because the hip back here's broke.
Oh,
It's been shot by a broadhead, so it lucky to got to me.
Well, I guess so.
Yeah.
So you could take care of it properly.
Yeah.
And of course, you'll have this on the table pretty soon
Oh yeah.
as well.
This is my second one. I've killed a bow. I got one with a bow.
How big?
3-point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna mount this one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I imagine there's a lot of them up here that'll be mounted. There's a lot of women with bucks on the pole this year.
Yep.
How do you figure?
We're coming back.
We be coming back. Barb Meadows was joined at the buck pole by a young lady who got this big 6-pointer. Her name is Kathy Lindeman. She's from Saline. She's been deer hunting for 3 years, Her boyfriend got her interested, and finally, this was her first buck. Another woman hunter who just started this year was Kathleen Chamberlain from Dexter. She hunted bow season without success, but on opening evening, November 15th, with her shotgun, Kathleen got a nice 10-point buck in Washtenaw County. Now, Kathleen was a firefighter for the city of Ann Arbor. She says the guys at the fire station got her into hunting, and she really enjoys it. Well, for stories about big bucks this season, don't miss our Practical Sportsman Big Buck Night on December 9th. Check your local listings for exact times. This will be the hour-long trophy book that's always interesting to watch. The presentation, exquisite. I can't really tip it up for you here. It's called Almond Creamed Cottontail by Melanie Morris from Mount Pleasant. And, of course, that is cream that you have on the plate there.
That's cream and Indian paint is what I call it, but actually it's cream.
Ketchup and mustard, huh?
It's ketchup and, no, it's not ketchup and mustard. It's curry flavored cream and paprika flavored cream.
Well, now, which is
used in squirt bottles to
okay, well, so you have the paprika.
In the red,
is in
and
the
then
red.
the curry in the yellow.
Okay, so you just mix it up so it's kind of a thick consistency?
Right, it takes about an hour to infuse, and then you're ready.
And then you're ready, but you're not really ready. You cut little swirls. What did you call that?
That's right. Cut little swirls.
Seriously?
You nap the plate.
You nap the plate, then you squirt your little circles, and then you use your knife to pull away from the center of the plate to make the design.
The design on
and
this.
then you hope it doesn't get too messed up from the kitchen to the table.
Yeah, I would think you'd almost want to do this on the table, but this isn't. Did you go to a chef's school or something, or how did you learn this?
I read a lot, and I read cookbooks for pleasure. And once I moved here to Michigan and learned how popular wild game cooking was, I became interested in that.
Boy, I'll tell you, this is the leg of a rabbit that evidently has not done much running. Because I'll tell you, it's really. But these are cottontails, that were taken by hunters just yesterday, and this is about the whitest meat cottontail leg I've tasted, and it is outstanding.
Very large cottontail.
What did you do to? Here's the plate, as it came out of the oven. How did you cook it?
Well, you first just dredge the rabbit in flour, and then you dip it in a seasoned butter. It's got curry, paprika, celery salt, things like that in the butter. You roll it in the butter, bake it, pour some half and half around it, sprinkle some almonds.
The almonds, I can almost taste the almonds, I think.
And then you siphon off, or you use a bowl baster and take some of the liquid and put some sour cream with it and put it back on to the rabbit.
Okay, you know what you're creating here is an outstanding recipe that sounds terrific and not that difficult, but people are going to be intimidated by because of all the fancy stuff you have to do.
What
the
fancy
turkey
stuff?
baster and all that. It really isn't that hard.
If anyone has ever cooked a Thanksgiving meal, they know what a turkey baster is. It's not that hard to use.
So I'm all wet on that. This is really easy recipe to put together.
It's very easy.
And scrumptious. And if you don't do the swirls around the plate,
You don't have to. This is just for show.
It's tasty though. Man, Fred, how'd you find her?
Just lucky, I guess, Fred. Just lucky.
Oh man.
In the produce section of a grocery store.
Is that right? Well, we won't get into that story, but I tell you, this almond cream cottontail, top of the heap. Just excellent, Melanie. Excellent. All of the recipes you've seen on this show since October 1st will be published in the Practical Sportsman magazine. Our special super issue is at the printers now. It'll be printed a week from today and put in the mail on Friday, December 3rd. Because this issue is a combination of October, November, and December, January, it'll be bigger and include the 1992 Hunting Awards trophy book with the analytical charts and graphs. Articles are divided into regular departments. Of course, we have firearms focusing on guns and ammunition. Archery has information on gear for bow hunters. Warm and Dry is a brand new department on products designed for outdoor comfort. Fishing focuses on ice fishing, which is coming up soon. Snowmobiles and ATVs, we announce our January Practical Sportsman trout fishing trip from Drummond Island across to Canada. Write to me and I'll send you the new super issue when we make our big mailing on December 3rd. I'll also send you information on the Practical Sportsman's Club, why you should be a member, and how to sign up. Yeah, just about everybody says, so how was deer season? Well, let's check our guide report. Dick's Favorite Sports in the Keweenaw said location was the main factor. Deer were in the hardwoods. Hunter numbers up. Deer harvest down. Quiet opener. UP Archery, Sault Ste. Marie, hunter numbers up. Hunter success slow, very little shooting. Win a resort on Drummond Island. First few days, slow, but they did get some big bucks. Indian River, buck pole, about the same as last year, 36 bucks, 10 point was the biggest. Hunter numbers, they say, appeared to be down. Cadillac area, hunter success, down, not much shooting. Big L Lumber here in Sheridan, Montcalm County. Buck contest entries were up, had between 75 and 100 brought in the first couple days. Biggest was a 13 point. But take a look at Houghton Lake, Lenny's. Hunter numbers were up, had a 10 point brought in by a woman opening morning. The biggest buck was an 11 point, 15-inch spread. They aren't real big up there. Buck pole was down those in 1990. They had 190, 91, 119, 92, 59. This year, 32 on the pole, although 65 were brought in. But see, we haven't been videotaping up there at the buck pole, and maybe that has something to do with it. You look at Bob's deer processing here in Ovid. He had over 100 deer brought in for the first 2 days, the most he's ever seen, but we put him on TV last year with his deer processing. He'll be here this weekend at the museum, too. On Mill Creek Sports, who we've been putting on TV the past 2 years. They said hunter numbers were down, success was down, but their buck pole was up, 32 bucks. Hey, and they were big ones at that. Tuesday the 30th is the last day of Michigan's 1993 firearm deer season, but December 1st, archery season reopens statewide and ruffed grouse season opens in the Lower Peninsula. On the 3rd, UP hunters start their 10-day muzzleloader deer season. Permit holders for the late elk season can start on Tuesday the 7th and the 10th, the day after Big Buck Night. That 10-day muzzleloader season opens in the Lower Peninsula. With that coming up, you can understand the lack of ATA trap shoots, registered skeet shoots, 3D archery, handgun metallic silhouette shoots this weekend. The only shoots we have on our schedule are at the Western Michigan Rifle and Pistol Club in Ionia, muzzleloader Sunday, non-sanctioned trap Tuesday. It's big doings at the Practical Sportsman Museum this weekend, though. Friday through Sunday, a 3-day Sportsman's Gift Fair. Exhibitors include Senko with the Super Blind, the Pack and Shack Deer Blind, Coolman's Ice Rods and Spring Bobbers, JTB with the new military Mickey Mouse boots, the Game Gaff Deer Drag, Fishtail Spinner Systems, the Heat Seat, and Maury's Collectibles of Carvings. Taxidermist Tim Hayes will be working all weekend on deer head mounts. Saturday at 2 o'clock, butcher Steve Cole will demonstrate boning out a deer. Sunday at 1 o'clock, Bob's Deer Processing from Ovid will do a deer butchering demonstration. This is our biggest event so far at the museum. I'll be there on Saturday and Sunday as well. Stop by for a visit, and be sure to call us if you need more information on calendar events. I want to take a moment here to let deer hunters know about the 1993 Real Tree Hunting Awards. Now, we've got our computerized system back in order, and when we get your entry, we put data into our computerized database. We'll send you a certificate, which I sign, saying that you got a trophy deer, turkey, bear, or elk, and you get invited to pick up a special award on stage at the Hunting Awards banquet at the end of February. This is where we videotape the trophy book stories that we run on the show during the year. Now, getting an award is free. All you have to do is fill out the official entry form, get the proper signatures, fill in the necessary data, and include a photo. Make sure your trophy meets our minimum requirements. Now, for white-tailed deer, that's 10 antler points, outside spread of at least 18 inches, that's one or the other. A bear must be 250 pounds. Turkey must have at least an 8-inch beard. Now, we'll have the biggest racks we can find in each point category on our Big Buck Night. That'll be on Thursday night, December 9th. Videotaping will be done on the Saturday before, December 4th. Now, good luck, and be sure you let us know about your trophy. Well, things are hopping here at our Practical Sportsman Museum here at the holiday time. We have new exhibits set up: moose, caribou, rhinoceros, elk. These are all mounts that have been done by taxidermist Tim Hayes. Tim has these waiting for customers to pick up, and Tim is right here working. In fact, you've set up shop here in the museum. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is.
You don't realize how cool it is. You know, you're so used to seeing things like this that people come in and say, "What in the heck is that?" You say, "Well, it's a form." Huh?
Yeah, it's a polyurethane styrofoam mannequin that we use underneath the skin.
And that's what's underneath all of these mounts that you see.
That's right.
Oh, look at this. Grab that deer over there, please, Tim. This is a deer that is an unusual coloration. Came up where? From around Atlanta?
South of Atlanta, Area 69.
Well, I guess you can't really see everything there, but there's white markings on it. It even has white markings. I mean, it looks like a pony or something. I mean, it's interesting coloration.
Yeah, it's a partially albino deer. He's what they call the pieballs.
Mm-hmm. Well, he has this here that's drying, and of course you'll be taking this off as soon as the deer is dry.
Right. This stuff's on here to press the detail into the form.
Amazing. The Art of Taxidermy. Tim Hayes, right here in the museum. Most of the time, we'll find you here working. Hey, we have a lot of things coming up. The holiday season, I know, is going to be a busy one, but make sure you have time to get outdoors because it's a great place to be. See you next week.
Fred Trost Practical Sports, and by the financial support of viewers like you.
Next week on The Practical Sportsman, we have a unique show to precede Big Buck Night on December 9th. We're starting a fishing trip to Canada, which we took last spring over Memorial Day weekend. I'll take you through the Upper Peninsula, stop at the Deer Ranch, the Sioux Locks, the Antlers Bar, and other attractions. We'll exchange our money and go through customs, things you need to know for traveling to Canada. Most of the public TV stations that run Practical Sportsman will follow it with a 90-minute special called Beyond the Sioux, Fishing at Rawhide. We'll catch lake trout and northern pike, have a heck of a time back in the boondocks, so join me next week for another Practical Sportsman adventure.
There we go. Great
Well,
work.
that's not a bad one.